नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। अष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Okay. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 5, Verse 25. So Prahlad Maharaj is continuing. So Hiranyakashipu asked, what is the best thing you learnt from your teachers? And he expounded the Navavida Bhakti. And now he's continuing. Nishamyaitat sutavacho Hiranyakashipustada Guruputram Chedam Rusha Praspuritataraha. Okay, so that's all that Prahlad Maharaj said. After hearing these words of devotional service from the mouth of his son Prahlada, Hiranyakashipu was extremely angry. His lips trembling, he spoke as follows to Shanda, the son of his guru Shukracharya. Brahmabandho kimetatte vipaksham shrayata sata asaram grahito balo mam manadritya durmate. O unqualified, most heinous son of a Brahmana, you have disobeyed my order and taken shelter of the party of my enemies. You taught this poor boy about devotional service. What is this nonsense? In this verse, the word asaram, meaning having no substance, is significant. For a demon, there is no substance in the process of devotional service. But to devotee, devotional service is the only essential act of life. Hiranyakashipu did not like devotional service, the essence of life. He chastised Prahlad Maharaj's teachers with harsh words. Hmm. So he's saying asaram, hmm, nonsense, without any essence, without any substance. That's what non-devotees think about devotional service. But the only essence of life, the only sara of life is devotional service. Everything else is just add on. That's all. But the core essence is devotional service. That's what is being said here. Santi sadhavo loke durmaitraschadmaveshinah tesham udetyagam kale rogapatakinam iva. In due course of time, various types of diseases are manifest in those who are sinful. So this is a true fact. Similarly, in this world, there are many deceptive friends in the false garbs, but eventually, because of their false behavior, their actual enmity becomes manifest. So this is a material thinking. So Hiranyakashipu is saying that you're doing sinful activities, so various types of diseases will manifest in you. And also, there are many deceptive friends. But eventually, their enmity will become manifest. Being anxious about the education of his boy Prahlada, Hiranyakashipu was very much dissatisfied. When Prahlada began teaching about devotional service, Hiranyakashipu immediately regarded the teachers as his enemies in the garb of friends, because he's thinking the teachers are only teaching this. In this verse, the words Roga Patakinam Iva refer to disease, which is most sinful and miserable of the conditions of material life, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. So disease is the most sinful and miserable. This is the symptom of the body of a sinful person. Very strong statement. So everybody has some or the other disease, so that is, it is the symptom of the body of a sinful person. Of course, we might not have committed sins in this life, but it just shows that we were sinful in our previous life. That is a symptom. Prabhupada saying it is the most sinful aspect amongst Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. Of course, Janma also is Prarabdha, low birth, but while once you've taken birth, if there's a lot of disease or a lot of problems, generally it's a sign of sinful person. Brahmaha Kshayarogi Syat Surapah Syavadantakaha Swarnahari Tukunakhi Dushcharma Guru Talpagaha. Smriti Shastra say murderers of Brahmanas are later affected by tuberculosis. Drunkards become toothless. Those who have stolen gold are afflicted by diseased nails. And sinful men who have sexual connections with the wife of a superior are afflicted by leprosy and similar skin diseases. So I had tuberculosis in my life. So I must have murdered a Brahmana in some life. So fallen. Huh. Anyway, so drunkards become toothless. Those who have stolen gold are afflicted by diseased nails. Sinful men who have sexual connections with a wife of a superior are afflicted by leprosy and similar skin diseases. It might not be all the complete list, but yeah, some indication. But important thing, disease is the symptom of body of a sinful person. So we don't have to be proud about anything. At the same time, if somebody doesn't have disease, they shouldn't think, oh, okay, I'm not done any sin. So mm, these are all previous considerations just to make us more humble. Whether we become humble because of reflection of, when we reflect on the how we have lived our past lives, either way, we have to become surrendered. We have to become humble. There's no other way to achieve Krishna. But these are good indications because then we can become more humble, saying that I'm a really sinful person. Shri Guru Putra Uvacha. So now Shanda is going to respond. Namat pranitam na parapranitam suto vadatyesha tavendra shatro naisargikiyam matirasya rajan niyachamanyum kadadah smamanaha. The important word here is naisargiki. The son of Shukracharya, Hiranyakashipu's spiritual master, said, O enemy of King Indra, O king, whatever your son Prahlada has said was not taught to him by me or anyone else. His Naisargiki Bhakti, spontaneous devotional service, has naturally developed in him. Therefore, please give up your anger and do not unnecessarily accuse us. It is not good to insult a Brahmana in this way. Of course, they were Brahmana in name only because they were working for a demon, but still, yeah, they think that they're a Brahmana, and yeah, one should not insult a real Brahmana. So they are like threatening in Shastric way, saying that don't become angry unnecessarily. It's not good to insult a Brahmana in this way. More importantly, he's saying his spontaneous devotional service has naturally developed. And how did his spontaneous devotional service develop? Just by Shravanam from a super pure devotee, Sri Narada Muni. So his natural devotion mm, just awoke, mm, became awakened. So that's all we need to do. We need to just hear from authorities, from pure devotees, and then our natural spontaneous devotional service will become aroused. And it's the same process. We have to give this to others as well. So one of the things for today's generation, unfortunately, is going to be shorts, reels. So now we are planning to actually create reels, so that all kinds of people who can get an opportunity to hear, and hopefully in course of time their natural devotional service will become awakened. And so somehow we have to give this opportunity to people. And not everybody wants to read books, but we can't ignore them, we can't neglect them. So we also have to think about ways of helping them out. So, and hence we have to also become innovative. This is time, place, circumstance. Not that we're going to change the message. Some people change message in the name of time, place, circumstance. No, no, that's not acceptable. We have to give pure devotional service only, but in capsules which can be easily consumed by our audience. And Prabhupada in first canto says realization means presenting the material in a way that can be that is becomes appealing to the audience. Now appealing means not that okay to satisfy their whims, but different people have different ways of presenting tattva will appeal to different types of people. So accordingly we should present. It's not that is the same one size fits all. But if we give them the right their languages, so to speak, right? If we can give them pure devotion in their language, then the spontaneous devotional service will get aroused. So, and that's the work of all of us devotees. Sri Narada Uvacha Gurunaivam Pratiprokto Bhuya Ahasura Sutam Nachet Gurumukhiyam Te Kuto Bhadrasati Matihi. Narada, so he's talking to Yudhishthir Maharaj. So he says, when Hiranyakashipu received this reply from the teacher, he again addressed his son Prahlada. Hiranyakashipu said, you rascal, most fallen of our family. If you have not received this education from your teachers, Kuta, where have you gotten it? From where? Abhadra, inauspicious one. You're Abhadra to the family. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that devotional service is actually Bhadra Sati, not Abhadra Sati. In other words, knowledge of devotional service can be neither inauspicious nor contrary to etiquette. To learn devotional service is the duty, Prabhupada's word, duty of everyone. Therefore, the spontaneous education of Prahlad Maharaj is supported as auspicious and perfect. Bhadrasati. Shri Prarada Uvacha Matirna Krishne Paratasvato Va Mitobi Padyeta Grihapratanam Adanta Gobir Vishatantamisram Puna Punascharvita Charvananam. So these verses are super important, especially for people who are stuck in material life. So very, very powerful statements, powerful verses. So Matirna Krishna Paratasvatova. Mati means consciousness or absorption. Na Krishna Parata. So it will not be there. For whom? For those who have uncontrolled senses. Persons too addicted to materialistic life. Puna Puna Charvita Charunanam. They make progress toward hellish conditions and repeatedly chew that which has been already chewed. Their inclinations toward Krishna are never aroused, either by the instructions of others, by their own efforts, or by a combination of both. Matina Krishna Parata Swata Mita. So the consciousness, the inclination towards Krishna will not arouse, either because of Parata, instructions of others, Swata, by their own understanding, Va, or Mita, from combined effort. Na Abhipadyeta, it doesn't develop. For whom Grihvratanam, who are addicted to materialistic way of life, bodily conception of life. Why? Because of Adanta Gopi. Adanta Gopi, uncontrolled senses. And what do these uncontrolled senses do? Vishatam Tamisram. Takes them into hellish life, life of ignorance. And what do? Puna Puna Charvita Charvanana. Again and again they chewed something they've already chewed. So important points here is Adanta Gopi, then Grihabratanam Adanta Gopi Vishatam Tamisram. So because of this, they end up doing Punapuna Charvita Charvananam, and their mati will never go into Krishna. So this is again this whole discussion we had yesterday about Grihastha life. So we should not become too addicted to materialistic life, bodily conception of life. Okay, so Prabhupada writes a nice purport. In this verse, the words Matirna Krishna refer to devotional service rendered to Krishna. So-called politicians, erudite scholars, and philosophers who read Bhagavad Gita try to twist some meaning from it to suit their material purposes. But their misunderstandings of Krishna will not yield them any profit. So they will twist Bhagavad Gita. Because such politicians, philosophers, and scholars are interested in using Bhagavad Gita as a vehicle for adjusting things materially. For them, constant thought of Krishna or Krishna consciousness is impossible. So please note, this is for anybody who wants to twist the meaning of Bhagavad Gita. Mm. Unfortunately, sometimes we see, even in devotee circles, we see sometimes the meanings of verses being twisted, not actually following what Srila Prabhupada has said. Mm. One classic example is, in the first chapter, right? There's this verse which talks about, fallen state of materialistic women, and people are afraid to actually repeat what Prabhupada has said in the purport, because they think that this is going to be pushed away, like we're going to people are going to go away. They won't like what they hear. No, we should not twist, just present as it is. Then we will, put some massage that, and in a way that is presentable. Then for one massage, then you have to make another massage, and then another massage, and then it will all be diluted. So just present the message as it is. What is our problem? I mean, why do we have to take responsibility of this? This responsibility is actually, it's coming from Krishna and Prabhupada and our Acharya. So we have to simply repeat it. Possibly we can try to explain it in a way people can understand. The other day I was talking to, one Mataji. So I was trying to explain, saying that why, there are certain rules that we have to follow. And, initially, and it was some of this, so-called feminism, right? Anti-feministic thoughts. And then I was trying to explain, saying that why is it actually pro-feminist, as in it's not actually anti-feminist. And then once I explained some things which are normally not understandable, acceptable to women, and she was like readily accepted. Actually, it makes very lot of sense. We should actually, accept it and also give it to others, she was saying. So it's about just explaining all these difficult to understand things in Krishna consciousness, but for all of which have like deep meaning. And Prabhupada has explained it. If we know the meaning, then we can explain. Otherwise, because we think that, oh, no, no, this is not good. How can we say that women are foolish, women are fallen? Oh, no, 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 we'll twist this meaning. No, we don't have to twist the meaning. We can be sensitive, but we should give the absolute truth. We should not change it. Stated in Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati. Only through devotional service can one understand Krishna as he is. And only by devotional service can one understand Krishna's system as it is. Hmm. Now, why did Krishna create Varnashrama Dharma? Uh, was it like some time pass, or was it some mistake? No, we can understand. If we become devotees, we can understand what is the fallen state of the civilization of the society and how Varnashrama can make a difference. Why only non-devotees? Even amongst devotees' lives will become so much easier if society will follow Varnashrama. Because then, simple way of putting it is, your boss will also be a devotee. So if you want to say, okay, I want to take off today because it's some festival, he will say, great, maybe I'll also try to join. Just imagine how the world can change. So Varnashrama is absolutely critical. Otherwise, society is going in a demoniac direction. So Bhaktya Mamami Janati. So devotees can understand, yes, this societal structure is important for us. The so-called politicians and scholars think of Krishna as fictitious, meaning non-real. The politician says that his Krishna is different from the Krishna depicted in Bhagavad Gita. Even though he accepts Krishna and Rama as the supreme, he thinks that thinks of Rama and Krishna as impersonal because he has no idea of service to Krishna. Thus, his only business is punascharvita charvananam, chewing the chewed again and again. What is this chewing the chewed? Everything that we are doing in this life materially, we've already done it in the past. We've done a lot more in the past. And we've also tried to chew with the hope that, okay, this is going to give me some happiness. But it didn't, it hasn't. But we are again chewing the same thing. Once you chewed something first time, you didn't get any rasa from it. Now you already chewed it. You didn't get any rasa. You are again trying to chew it. How are you going to get any rasa? So there's no way you're going to experience any happiness. So it's a waste of time. Puna puna charvita charunanam. Chewing the chewed is a waste of time because you're not going to experience any happiness. And that's true about every material activity. Hmm. Somebody might just say, oh, bungee jumping, it's so exciting. We've done that. Somebody might think, oh, going in an airplane up in the sky, we've done that. Somebody might think, living in some very natural habitat is great. We've done that. Whatever excites, whatever we get attracted by, bhoga ishwarya prasaktanam taya aparata chetasa. Whatever steals away our chitta, our consciousness, our mind, we've already done that before. Don't be surprised. And remember this. Oh, I've already done it. I didn't get any rasa out of it. No, what am I going to get? I'm going to simply waste my time. And absolute true of, like whole thing about attachment to, family, society, nation, etc. Already done multiple times, zillions of times. The aim of such politicians and academic scholars is to enjoy this material world with their bodily senses, and this is what they promote. This is what they promote, isn't it? Enjoy, make merry. Therefore, it is clearly stated here that those who are griha vrata, whose only aim is to live comfortably with the body in the material world, cannot understand Krishna. Two expressions, griha vrata and charvita charvananam, indicate that a materialistic person tries to enjoy sense gratification in different bodily forms, life after life, but is still unsatisfied. This is the essence, unsatisfied. In the name of personalism, thisism, or thatism, such persons always remain attached to the materialistic way of life. Even though it's not given them happiness, even though they're unsatisfied, they still don't know any other way. And it's the responsibility of devotees to give up this path, take the path of devotional service, experience the happiness, share it with others. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Bhoga Ishwarya Prasaktanam Taya Parata Chetasam Vyavasayatmika Buddhi Samadho Na Vidiyate. In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, Bhoga Ishwarya. Bhoga is sense enjoyment, Ishwarya is material opulence. They're too attached. How much attached? And they're bewildered by such things. Meaning, wow, this is bewildered. Wow, this is so amazing. Bewildered. For such people, resolute determination for devotional service to the Lord does not take place. They might do some devotional service. It's not, this verse is not saying they will not do devotional service at all, but vyavasayatmika buddhi will not happen. Meaning, one directional, one fixed attention, focused, one directional. That will not happen. For those who are attached and bewildered by sense enjoyment and material opulence. Those who are attached to material enjoyment cannot be fixed in devotional service. They cannot understand Bhagavan Krishna or his instruction, Bhagavad Gita. Adanta gobhir vishatam tamisram. Their path actually leads towards hellish life. As confirmed by Rishabhdeva, Mahat Sevam Dwaramahur Vimuktehe. One must try to understand by Krishna by serving a devotee. Mahat Sevam Dwaram. The word Mahat refers to a devotee. Mahatmanastu Maham Partha Daivim Prakriti Ashritaha Bhajantyananyamanaso Gnatva Bhutadim Avyayam. Who is this Mahatma? Daivim Prakriti Ashritaha. Great souls. They are not deluded. They are under the protection of Daivi Prakriti. And what do they do? Bhajanti Ananya Manaso. Bhajanti means doing devotional service. Ananya Manaso. Without going here and there. Mind is not going here and there. Fully fixed in devotion. Gnatva. Knowing that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. And is Vyaya is original and exhaustible. So they become fully engaged in devotional service, knowing Krishna's supreme position. And their mind doesn't go here and there. There's no Ananya Manasu. There's Eka, single focus. Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. As explained in the following verses, unless one adheres to such a great personality, one cannot understand Krishna. We are so fortunate that we are actually trying to understand Krishna from this, from a great Mahatma, from Srila Prabhupada. Mahatma is one who is constantly engaged in devotional service 24 hours a day. So he lived his life like that. He gave us his realizations, and we are very fortunate. Unless we hear from such a Mahatma, we cannot understand Krishna. Hiranyakashipu wanted to know where Prahlada had gotten his Krishna consciousness. Who had taught him? Prahlada sarcastically replied, "My dear father, persons like you never understand Krishna. Neither your teachers. With all of the same birds of the same feather. One can understand Krishna only by serving a Mahat, a great soul. That is why one has to surrender to the mission of Srila Prabhupada. One has to surrender to the mission of a Guru. Those who try to adjust material conditions are said to be chewing the chewed. See, look at this. Another way of understanding chewing the chewed. One is trying to enjoy material sense gratification. The other is trying to adjust material conditions. Oh, this is uncomfortable. It's too hot. I can't sit. Okay, first let me put a fan. Okay, fan is also there. Still it's too hot. Okay, let me put a AC. All these kind of things we have tried before. Don't try to adjust material conditions. It's not going to give you any satisfaction. There's not going to be any end for this. No one has been able to adjust material conditions, but life after life, generation after generation, people try and repeatedly fail. Unless one is properly trained by a Mahatma, or unalloyed. Unalloyed means pure devotee of the Lord. There's no possibility of one's understanding Krishna and this devotional service. So don't waste, Prabhupada is saying, don't waste time trying to adjust material conditions. Because people have tried life after life, but they've repeatedly failed. Half of our life actually we spend in adjusting material conditions. Oh, this situation is like this. How can I make it better? How can I make this better? How can I make that better? But we don't think in terms of how can I improve my devotion? How can I give devotion to others? That should be our meditation. That should be our absorption. If you're just always just worried about material comforts and improving material conditions, with the hope that, okay, I'm going to put some effort, something is going to change. Prabhupada is saying people have repeatedly failed. So why waste time? That is intelligence. Intelligence is not to just spend all our energy adjusting material conditions. Material conditions will get adjusted if they have to get adjusted. That is as per our karma or Krishna's desire based on our level of surrender. And those who are surrendered to Krishna, they don't really bother to adjust their material conditions. They just go on, okay, whatever is there is Krishna's mercy, and let me focus my energy. Let me not divert myself. So these verses are super heavy, actually. Yeah, I mean, like PhD study, like hammering. So you have to be very, very, we should take these words very, very seriously. We should take it to heart. So we should not have uncontrolled senses. We should not be addicted to material life, because we've done this again and again and again and again without success, and we are unsatisfied. All we have to do is be inclined towards Krishna. But if you are materially engrossed, then that inclination will never arouse. Okay. Are there any questions on this? Some of these, each and every verse is heavy.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. No, question is not on this. So the topic which was discussed prior to this. So one of my friend, she has read Prabhupada book. So far I have read, I understood that women are like children, they're less intelligent and all. She told me that in one of the books she has read as women are Shudras, they should be considered as Shudras. I never read it, but she told me and she was little disappointed. How
No,
to
women are not
explain?
Shudras. No, not Shudras. And that is that, what is that? What is that verse? Striyo Vaishyas Tata Shudras Tepi Anti Paramgatim. Striyo Vaishyas Tata Shudras. So, Krishna has classified Stri, Vaishya, and Shudra in one class as lower birth. Compared to what? Compared to Brahmana and Kshatriya. Now, see, we have to understand. Shastra also says, Kalau Shudra Sambhavaha. So in Kali Yuga, everybody is a Shudra. Why only women? I mean, women are actually not classified as Shudras because the Varna is primarily for men, and based on the marriage that happens, women take up that, become that group, right? If even if a Brahmana women lady girl got married to a Shudra, then she loses her Brahmana status. And that is low, degraded marriage, right? So anyway, women don't have anything like a Shudra status. But women are also included in the lower echelons of society, lower classes of society. That is historically, that is in previous Vedic way of life. In Kali Yuga, everybody is a Shudra. So why? And Prabhupada, actually, yesterday I was reading one purport where Prabhupada explained very nicely who is a Shudra. That they don't want any higher education. No, higher education doesn't mean PhD. They don't want any education, any spiritual education. They are Shudras. And it is true of everybody in Kali Yuga. Why we have to be disappointed? It's the truth. And you should also explain that another definition of Shudra is one who is born without Garbhadan Samskar. Is also considered a Shudra because he is not twice born. One who is not twice born is also Shudra. So, and it applies to everybody. It's not singling out women as such. Because that is the fallen state of Kali Yuga. And an additional whatever quality or disqualification for a, please understand this, please hear these words very carefully. For a jiva, for a atma in a woman body, in a Stri body. Because atma is not Purusha or Stri. Because of whatever our desires, our inclinations, etc., in past life, we've taken a body of a woman, or somebody has taken a body of a man. No, that jiva who took the body of a woman, the body of a woman brings in more constraints in terms of emotional attachment and family, bodily conception of life, etc., etc., which becomes a little bit added disadvantage. But that's all. Found fundamentally, everybody is fallen, and there's a little more disadvantage that comes in the body of a woman because of being emotionally attached. Now, having said that, because everybody is a Shudra, everybody is fallen. Everybody has their own material attachments. So we don't have to get too worked up about this. This is the reality of today's world. Why are we hearing these words and getting worked up? We should just look at ourselves. We should look at the world around us and we will understand that Prabhupada is not making any wrong statement. He's just showing a mirror to us. Mirror is going to show the reality, right? Now the rest of the world has a colored mirror, right? So-called other spiritual institutions, they have a colored mirror. So they show you the mirror, but the mirror shows green. Everything is beautiful. But Prabhupada is showing actual mirror. The work of a mirror is to reflect the image as it is, not coloring it. And we should be ready to look at our mirror and say, okay, I'm only so much beautiful. So we have to understand. That is why, see, if we read Prabhupada's books with a challenging spirit, we are never going to understand. First time I read this, okay, Shudra, I said, okay, maybe true. I never understood this. I said, oh, how can Prabhupada call me a Shudra? What else should he call you? So it's like that, So once we start understanding that Prabhupada is just showing us a mirror of reality, we will be humble, we will accept, we will fall in line, etc., etc. Yeah, so it's not necessarily singling out women in that from that perspective, but more because they're more emotionally attached. That's all. But everybody is fallen in Kali Yuga. Yeah, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I
Yeah.
just want to add to this a point, Prabhuji, of yours that so we can see that there are although there are these emotional attachments Matajis have,
Hmm.
but it doesn't stop them from making
Yeah.
very good
Yeah.
devotees
Prabhupada said
because
that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Prabhupada said that
As
this is only for materialistic women. Once a lady becomes a devotee and she's able to overcome her emotional entanglements, then she's as good. She's just treated as a devotee, then not female devotee, male devotee, etc. Right? But
Yeah.
of course, still having said that, there are certain rules and regulations, there are certain boundaries Vedic way of life, recommends, and that is for our welfare. Again, I don't
Yeah.
want to go too much into that right now because it will be a diversion.
Yeah.
But these are all, there are reasons for everything.
Hmm. And
And
also
I
there,
mean, and really, I mean, the thought that comes to my mind is, we should ask, why did I want to become a woman, or why did I want to become a man? That's the question we should ask ourselves. Because it's our desire. Right?
yeah. And also there are a
Mm.
lot of devotees who were Matajis like Mirabai, Karmabai, right? Lord Jagannath was very fond of eating khichdi from Karmabai, and maybe not, I mean, he wanted to take that khichdi first before taking the offerings of the Sevayats in Jagannath Puri. So
Yeah.
there are lot of Mataji devotees who reached and got Lord's prema. So it is not that it is any disadvantage. My question was, Proji, from my side only. I mean, I'm in a male body and still I have uncontrolled senses. So,
No,
although
uncontrolled
I have,
senses is for everybody. Don't
yeah,
we should not misunderstand. Uncontrolled senses is for everybody. Emotional attachment is for more for women. More for women. It's not that men are not emotionally attached, but more for women. That's all.
yeah,
But uncontrolled senses is every every jiva in Kali Yuga except pure devotees is uncontrolled senses. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So sometimes the situation of a devotee might be that they have some inclination towards Krishna, maybe not very um, pakka stage.
Strong. Hmm.
Yeah, it's not
Not.
very strong. It's initially that signs are there, but still they have uncontrolled senses at the same
Hmm.
time.
Yeah, all of us.
So,
Hmm.
yeah, so anything that, like, okay, for how long this uncontrolled senses will continue?
विषया विनिवर्तन्ते निराहारस्य देहिनः रसवर्जं रसोऽप्यस्य परं दृष्ट्वा निवर्तते. Till you develop that attraction to Krishna, this will remain.
Yeah.
Till you experience higher taste, it will remain. How much time? That depends on the sankalpa, determination of the devotee. And how that determination come about? By hearing and solid association.
Hmm.
It can end tomorrow, it can go on for till the end of our life. Is that okay?
Yeah. That's
Okay.
right.
Yeah. Pradit Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna. Pranam Prabhu.
If I may, with your permission, attempt to add to what Mataji had just asked,
Yeah,
from what
please go ahead.
little I know from what I have read over the years. These Varnashram created by Lord Krishna were equal. It is we who has given it, the Brahmana is the higher status, followed by Kshatriya, then the Vaishya, and the Shudra. Lord Krishna has not classified it as up and down. The Brahmins, they used to take care of worship and education. Kshatriyas for taking care of the matters of the state and protecting the king and the state. Vaishyas for merchants, and Shudras were basically people who served the other three communities. They were in the seva bhava. So if a woman is called a Shudra, it is because her seva bhava to her father, mother, husband, children, her kin is much more. Probably the man is busy earning a livelihood. The seva side is actually the feminine side. So that is why probably Prabhupada has mentioned the woman as Shudra, because Shudra's job is to serve the other three classes. Doesn't
Mm.
mean that Shudra is lower in any way. It only means that Shudra's job is to serve the other three classes. This is what I understood from one of the satsang that I have attended on ISKCON, and also read a few purports. So Matajis are Shudras by way of their Seva Bhava. That's it. There's no
Okay, this is
influence
not. Yeah, okay. Thanks for that, Prabhu. But this is not what Prabhupada is actually said. It's very, very clear saying that Brahmanas are superior. Brahmanas are considered the head of the society. So there is superiority because Kshatriyas are supposed to follow Brahmanas.
on.
So if there is no superiority, inferiority, there is superiority, but because of their guna and karma, right? Because of their natures, there is someone who is superior. That is why it's called The Dvijas are only Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya. Shudras are not given that status at all because they are fallen. Let's not mince words here, right? So Shudras are fallen, but Kali Yuga is full of Shudras. That's the point I'm trying to make, because everybody is
Absolutely.
fallen. But
Absolutely.
Varnashrama had a very, very clear distinction. Varnashrama classed, Brahmanas as the head of the society. And even among Brahmanas, those who become sannyasis are the head of all the ashramas, right? So it's not that everybody is equal. Sorry to say, it's not that they are all equal, right? The Kshatriya has to follow the instructions of
But
Brahmana,
as
and he
per
has a different role. He has a
yes,
different role, right? But the role doesn't make everybody equal.
yes. But as per
From
sorry.
if I might just complete. See, the role as in terms of how their contribution towards the society might be seen equally. Meaning, for example,
That's
you
it.
might say that without a Kshatriya, society will not function. Without a Brahmana, society will not function. Without a Vaishya, society will not function. Without a Shudra, absolutely it will not function. So, from a
Absolutely.
functional perspective, they're all equal in
That's
terms of
what I
their
feel. That's what I
contribution.
meant.
Yeah, in terms of their contribution towards the society, but principally there is superiority and inferiority in terms of their position.
Yes,
Okay, so
I
we should
agree.
not confuse that. Okay, and
No.
women, I mean, I've not read anywhere that this women have been classified as shudras because of their service attitude or anything like that. Actually, in a society, everybody has to serve. Even a Brahmana is serving, Kshatriya is serving, Vaishya is Shudra is serving, Shudra is serving. Everybody is serving in a different way. So service attitude, which is what Prabhupada explained somewhere else, right? I mean, we are eternally service attitude. It just
Yes.
depends on whom we are serving. You can either serve Maya or we can serve Krishna.
Yes.
So service attitude is an aspect of every human being, right? Why every human being, every jivo jivasya jivanam, right? Even one jiva is becoming food for somebody else and at service, whether it likes it or not, right? So, so it's not. I mean, I don't think anyway. I have to look this up whether Prabhupada is specifically called women Shudras because historically, when somebody talks in terms of varnashrama.
Hmm.
Generally, women are considered as a separate, like which is why there is Purusha Dharma and Stri Dharma. Stri are considered separate, right?
Correct.
So normally
Correct.
they are not classified as Shudras. Like let's see. I mean, if any of you get some references, I'll also be happy to read that.
Right. Right.
But more seems like there is a difference in the nature of women and there's a difference in the nature of men, right? That's
Absolutely.
that's
And
the
also, Prabhuji, the Brahmin, as we say, as far as Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, a Brahman can be anybody. One who has achieved Krishna is a Brahman. Brahmin is by
yeah.
birth. A Brahman is by practice, by
No, no,
associating
it's
with.
the same. It's the same thing. Just that Brahman are just English and maybe Indian languages. That's all. But Brahmana is a Brahmana. But see, we have to understand that Brahmana in Vedic way of life is Janma. In
Yes.
Pancharatric way of life is Karma. Okay, which is what
Yes.
Krishna wanted. But for whatever reason, Vedic way of life always tests. Now, today you go to Madhva Sampradaya, they will not encourage you if you're not a born Brahmana, born Madhva, right?
Correct.
So
Correct.
in Pancharatriki Vidhi, there is the process that Srila Rupa Goswami gave, which is about that bell metal becoming this one. So somebody can become a Brahmana, but uh, under training, under
Yes. Yes.
being trained by
Bona fide
bona
spiritual
fide
master.
spiritual master, one can become uh, with diksha and training, one can become a Brahmana, but not just because we are wearing a Brahmana thread, for example.
Yes.
It has to be the karma nature of the devotee, etc., etc.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you,
Okay.
Prabhuji.
Yeah.
That was a lively, lively, lively discussion. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Okay. Anything else? Anybody? I think we already crossed over time.
Okay, Prabhu, I also did not read anywhere. I just read
Yeah.
as unintelligent and like children. I'll ask her
Yeah.
the reference to give me the
Yeah.
reference.
Yeah. Please.
Yes,
Yeah. It'll help actually because I've also not heard that. Yeah. You please ask her and share with the group.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Mataji. Okay. So we can close for today. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyo Vacha. Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Ananta Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai. By the way, I just want to close with one thing that I keep telling, especially women who get discouraged by these things. I say that one thing is true, that the fallen state of the society today has, women have a huge bearing on that, because the culture in the house, the society is made of houses, and house is made by women, by Mataji, right? So the culture, we've lost our culture, and a huge responsibility of that is on the shoulders of women. And today, if we want to rejuvenate society, the power is in the hands of women, right? So they can change themselves, they can change other women, they can change children, and then the whole society changes. So it's a very, very powerful role. So which is why I keep saying that don't try to, you know, uh, try to put yourself in the position of a male and try to compete with that male, because the male's abilities in the sense of having the ability to change the society is not there. Is there in the hands of women. So they're in one sense more powerful, right? So that responsibility cannot be fulfilled by anybody else. It cannot be fulfilled by men. So it's a it's a big responsibility. So it's a big responsibility. So it can be seen that way, and empowered, become empowered to change the society. So that's important as well.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, can I
Yeah,
add something? And
yeah,
I had a
yeah,
question also. Prabhu, a
yeah.
woman, like she can change the house where she's born and the
Mm,
house she goes, and the
yeah,
next generation, which the
yeah,
society, which
yeah.
is. So
Yes,
she's empowered so much. A man cannot do
absolutely,
that.
absolutely, absolutely. That's the point I was making, right?
Yeah.
No, man cannot do that,
Yeah, he can earn
right?
the bread and come, and
Yeah,
how is to be molded depends a lot on
yeah,
on the
absolutely,
woman. Like your
absolutely.
daughter, I can see this in my this thing, Prabhu. Like
Yeah,
what my mother is, what I am, what my daughter is, and what my daughter is.
absolutely right. I mean,
I can
which is
see
why
the
which is why,
degradation.
yes, which is why I keep saying that, this power, there's so much of power in the hands of women, right? And instead of getting stuck in some, small things
Absolutely,
here and
Prabhu.
there, look at the bigger picture, right?
Absolutely.
And initially I was, I'm being candid. Let me just stop the recording. I was initially I was very concerned, saying that,